Well, hey guys, good afternoon. Today we talked about the metric system and how to convert between units like kilometers and meters and centimeters and what all those prefixes mean. So I wanted to take a second to just review that information, and then we're going to do a couple of examples together that are actually on the back of your sheet that we filled out today in class. And so basically I'm helping you with your homework just a little bit and hopefully getting you started on it. So just to review, we use this stair-step method to help us remember the order of the prefixes and what to do with the decimal when we're converting from one type of unit to the next. So in the middle we've got our basic unit, and that would be the gram, the meter, or the liter. We worked a lot with that last week, and these are the units that we add prefixes to when we want to make them either larger or smaller. So the larger prefixes are kilo, and that's abbreviated with a K, hecto with an H, deca with a D and a lowercase a. And these are all numbers, or they represent values that are over 1. So they're powers of 10. On the right hand side, we have the units that represent smaller numbers than 1, so they're fractions or decimals. So we've got deci, which is abbreviated with a D, centi, which is represented with a C, and then milli, which has an M. So deci is the first decimal, and that's how I remember that it's the first one. So it can be represented as 1/10 or with the decimal 0.1. Centi is kind of like a cent. So we have 100 cents in a dollar. So a cent is 1/100th of a dollar. That's how we have this. And then milli is 1/1000. You should already have all this written down in your notes from today. So look at the back of your sheet. That is your actual homework assignment for tonight, which is to complete that. I'm going to leave the first part for you to do on your own, because all you have to do is figure out the abbreviation for the unit that's written there. And so let's skip on to the conversions practice, where you've got a set of it in the middle of that piece of paper. We're going to do the first 3 together, and then I'm going to let you do the rest on your own, because I think you can handle it pretty well. If you do have questions, be sure that you post a comment or talk to some of your friends. Come to me during homeroom, and we'll get you squared away with that. I'm sure that with enough practice you're going to get good at it. So number 1, we've got 2,000 milligrams, and we're trying to convert this to grams. Well, what we're going to do is start out with what we know. We know milligrams. So find where on the chart milligrams would be. Right here is where we're starting. So we're going to put our decimal above that. And then we're going to the grams. We're going to the basic unit right here. So I'm going to count how many steps it takes to get there. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do the same thing with the decimal at the end of this number and move it back 3 steps. And that's now where the decimal should go. So 2,000 milligrams is the same thing as 2 grams. You don't really need to include all the extra stuff behind it, because it's just a bunch of zeros. Our second one, you have 104 kilometers, and you're trying to change this into meters. So again, we want to start with what we know and then pinpoint where we're headed. So we know the kilometers, therefore you're going to start here at this end of the chart. It might be a good idea to write these abbreviations at the top of your paper so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth to the front. So we know kilometers, we're trying to head to meters. This does not have a prefix in front of it, so we know that it is the basic unit. This time, we're going 3 steps to the right, and we're going to do the same thing with our decimal here. So I'm going to rewrite it and move the decimal 3 steps to the right. And today in class, we learned that when we have these extra spaces and no numbers there, we need to fill them in with placeholders, and that would be zeros. This is the same thing as multiplying the number by 1,000.
If you're still in the building, please feel free to stop by the teacher's lounge and get some popcorn before you head on out, and have a great weekend.
Mr. Brown really knows the way to teachers' hearts is popcorn. So this is our answer for number 2. I would consider retaping this, but I think that announcement is too funny to retape it. You need to really experience what I'm experiencing after school here. All right, our number 3 example in the homework is 480 centimeters, and we're trying to convert that into meters. So again, start with what you know. We know centimeters, so we're going to start with our decimal on the C. And we're trying to figure out meters. Again, it has no prefix, so it's the basic unit. We know where we're headed. It takes us 2 steps to get there. So we're moving our decimal in the same direction, 2 steps over. And now we need to put the decimal between the 4 and the 8. So we do need to write a decimal and then the number behind it this time. So our answer now is 4 8/10 meters. It's the same thing as 480 centimeters. I think you should be good to go on doing those conversions for the rest of your practice on homework tonight. But I do want to do one more example with you about how to compare 2 units when they're different types. So we've got 63 centimeters and we're comparing this to 6 meters. Okay? One way to think about this is I have 6 meter sticks compared to 63 centimeters, and that's not even a full meter. So at that point you could probably figure out which sign to put inside the circle. But just in case you're not quite sure and you can't visualize that and you need numbers in front of you, let's go ahead and convert centimeters into meters. So I'll rewrite this. We know centimeters, we're trying to find meters. So I'll start with my decimal and I'll move it to the basic unit. And I'll do the same thing here. Remember, decimal is like a period at the end of a sentence. Okay, it is moved to the front of that number. I need to put a 0 in front of it. So we know that the decimal is not just a stray mark in front of the number. So now we know that 63 centimeters is the same thing as 63 hundredths meters. And so now I have this number compared to 6 whole meters. We know that that's much smaller. So I'm going to use a less than symbol to show that. All right? Hopefully this helps you get through your homework assignment tonight. And once again, if you have any questions or concerns about this, please make sure you either email me, post a comment on Edmodo, or send me a message through that, or talk to your friends. You can also call the school phone. Please be ready to show me this sheet completed, and at least try every single one of these, whether you get it or not, and be ready to show it at the beginning of class tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to working with y'all some more on this, and we'll play some games to get ready for our quiz on Friday. Hope you have a great Monday night, and I'll see you tomorrow.